everybody, welcome back to the Ever-Growing Chef. My name is Brian Kaner, and we are here, episode 3. And if you watched our last 2 episodes, we had knife sharpening and we had knife skills to help you use that knife properly. And if you'll remember from the knife skills, we've got our mirepoix here today that we did when we were making it. And what we're going to basically be doing today, guys, is making some sweet corn southern chowder. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So let's kind of get started. Let's talk about some of the ingredients that we are going to need. So one of those ingredients, we're going to need about a half a stick of butter. We're going to need 1.5 of these wonderful little bags of sweet corn. We're going to need some 2% milk. We're going to need heavy cream. We're going to need some smoked paprika. We're going to need some chili powder. And we're going to need our mirepoix. Okay, now this recipe is going to probably make about 4 to 6 servings of chowder. So it's perfect if you're making it for just a little family gathering. Maybe it's an appetizer, you want to serve 10. It's really, really, really phenomenal. So what we're going to do today, mirepoix is a blend. It's 50% onion, 25% carrot, and 25% celery. In this particular method, we used 2 stems of celery, 1 thing of carrot, and 2 bulbs of onion. And what we're going to add right now is we got a nice little red Fresno pepper, and that's one of the things that's going to give us a little bit of our flavor here. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to basically cut it open and get all the seeds out. So we're going to take that, we're going to throw that in our little bin here. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to slice it nice and thinly, lengthwise. Okay, we want this to be a flavor piece, not something that you're chewing up. We're going to do this really nice and thin. Almost like a fine mince. Okay, so we've got that. We're going to get this one last little piece right here. Now, if you are doing this, I highly recommend wearing gloves, because otherwise, don't touch your eyes. If you touch your eyes, it's going to be pretty painful. So, go ahead, cut these up, turn them the other way. We're going to get a nice little fine dice out of them here. All right, perfect. See that nice dice. It's going to release a lot of flavor, a little bit of heat into our soup here. All right, so a lot of you guys are going to be pretty impressed with how easy this is to make and how good it's going to be at home. So right there, we've got our peppers, and what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to come over here. We're going to turn on our stovetop, and we're going to start melting that half stick of butter. That half stick of butter is going to go right in the pan right there. So let's talk a little bit about some of the ingredients and how I kind of do my chowder. So I do, in my soup, twice the amount of corn to the amount of mirepoix. And then when it comes to the cream and the milk, you'll see how we kind of measure that out later. It is by eye, but we do it in the blender, and it actually comes out really, really, really well. So easy, not too hard to follow. We're going to go ahead, we're going to get this moving around here a little bit, get that nice and melted. We'll turn the heat down so it melts a little bit at a lower pace so we don't burn the butter. We don't want to burn our butter. All right, so our butter is almost melted, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my mirepoix here. I'm going to get it out of the tray. I'm going to add in my additional peppers here. And we are going to go ahead and we're going to put this all right in. We're going to let that cook up. Remember, this is going to be blended, so I mean, that's the reason why all these are different sizes and shapes. So, we're going to stir that up. We're going to let it get nice and translucent. We want it to do what's called sweating. So sweating is where it's breaking down a little bit, it's cooking itself, it's getting to almost an opaque kind of color to it, where you can almost see through it. And so we're going to turn this heat up here and let this just kind of cook down. So always make sure you do a little salt and pepper. So we're going to take some from the cutting board here, a little bit of salt, put some salt in there, and we don't want to do too much, right? So if we do too much, you can't really take salt back, but you can always sweeten it and help offset it. So we're going to do a little bit of the pepper here, get that stuff in there. It's kind of nice that this cutting board has this all right here built in. All right. Stir that up. Alright, so this is cooking up nicely. We don't want it to really go brown on us or anything like that. So we're just going to keep turning this around. You'll see it's getting a little bit of a gloss to it. We'll just keep that kind of up. And at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add in 1.5 bags of that corn. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add that in there. A lot of corn. All right. And we're going to give that a nice stir. And we're going to let that corn kind of cook up just a little bit with the rest of the stuff. We're going to set this at a medium. You're getting some steam in there. So we don't want it to like over steam any of the stuff, but at the same time we want it to cook at a good rate. So we're just going to go ahead, we're going to turn all this around, toss it up, cook it up. Alright, so I've got my blender out now, and you'll see that this is cooked down just a little bit here. What we're going to go ahead and we're going to do is, first off, we're going to open the top to our blender, grab ourselves a spoon, something that we can scoop with. I like this one. It's a really big spoon, makes it nice and easy. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in some of my chili powder right now. I'm going to put in my chili powder right over the top of all these great, delicious vegetables. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stir that in. And get that nice. And I'm going to go ahead and stir that in and get it nice and incorporated. We got this pretty well cooked down. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to grab our blender. We're going to go ahead, we're going to start putting this into our blender. All right. If you don't get it all out, it's not a travesty. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to put our food up here in the blender. What we are going to do is we're going to fill it halfway through with cream. You'll see it go down the sides, fill it about halfway through. Perfect. And then once we're there, a little bit more than halfway, but I like my cream, who cares? I'm going to add a little bit of my 2%. Level that out. It's almost like making your own half and half. Just until it covers all the ingredients. Okay? So, we're going to go ahead, we're going to put our top on here. We've covered all our ingredients here. We're going to turn it on, and we're going to start it out at a nice pulse. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Right? We want to get it blended up really well. And then we'll move to a higher setting. And just let it go for a while. All right, and there we have it. Everything's nice pureed up. We're going to take that, we're going to put it right back into our pan. Look at that beautiful, thick chowder that we have. Okay. Temperature, check the taste. Wow, that is good. That is good. So it's really sweet. Really, really sweet. It's really great texture. Now at this point, you got to determine, hey, does it have enough salt for you? Does it not? For me, not enough salt, so I'm going to put a little bit more in. Now remember, if you're not getting some of those really great Southwest flavors, the salt will actually help to bring out a little bit more of those flavors for you. So again, I'm going to continue to stir this up. Let it mix in. And then at the very end, right before we are about to serve it, we're going to put in some nice whole kernels that we can stir in. Okay? Now, if you want it a little bit sweeter, you can add it with more corn. Personally, I like mine to taste more like a nice corn harvested off the grill, something like that. But you can make this a number of different ways. It's got great Southwest flavor. Really, really, really good. You can even add another chili if you want a little bit more of that flavor in there. So we're going to let this kind of heat up. We got those nice corn kernels in there. Get it all good to go. So now once you're at this stage where you're starting to get some of the boiling coming to it, a little bit of simmering, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to keep this at a simmer and keep a lid on it and let it simmer. And the longer you let it simmer, the more sweet it gets. It really depends on how you want to do it. But really what you have here is a beautiful chowder. We're going to go ahead and taste it. Wow. That is good. You can see it's bubbling right there. Okay, so now that we've got all that done, we're going to take a nice scoop of this chowder right here. We're going to go ahead, we're going to pop it in this little bowl. Okay, maybe a little bit more if we want to. Perfect. Got it. Set this right here. Got a beautiful chowder right there. I'm gonna take my sprig of rosemary or garnish or whatever I want. I'm gonna pop it right in there at the top. And you know what? I'm gonna take a little bit of that heavy cream that I got earlier, and I'm just gonna kind of give it some nice random lines through there. Perfect. And then I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of that smoked paprika. And you have a beautiful, beautiful chowder soup that you can serve anytime, anywhere, and it doesn't cost you a lot. Look at that. That is a beautiful soup right there. Well, all right, guys, we got a beautiful soup. Everything looks great. Tastes wonderful. I hope you enjoyed doing this at home just as much as I've enjoyed teaching it to you. Thanks for joining the Ever-Growing Chef, and remember, keep an open palate and a hungry heart. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.